Hey guys, Labyrinth Fan 2005 here with Duke again. This time we're going to do a podcast involving how my version of the Finding Nemo DVD will go. No menus. It's basically goes the same way as a VHS, except as a VHS tape, except higher quality in a disc and doesn't wear out. Anyway, I am going to be typing down the supplements for Duke in the private chat, and yeah, he's going to describe them.
Yeah, so basically, it kind of works like what Jack pointed out. It works the same way as the DVD, but it's only different in VHS. It's like 5.1 surround sound, and it's like like way before like Disney's Fast Play was a thing in 2000 and late 2005 ish, if you know what I'm saying, and while I do enjoy a Finding Nemo on a DVD, I it's still more kind of fun than a VHS because you basically get all the special features, you get all the virtual aquariums, and and you also get text the robot keeping you company, like how he did with the DVDs, like how he did with the DVD of Monsters Inc. and Cars, only to like backstab you for a few scenes that are very loud.
Yeah. So anyway, again, this is my version of the DVD. Like not a VHS, a DVD. Just no, you know what I mean. higher
Yeah.
quality, higher quality, widescreen doesn't wear out. Anyway, I'm going to type down the first element, which are the. And again, Duke's going to describe each of them. Anyway, this is the first one.
So, yep. So just like the DVD, it starts off with the blue warning screens, which of course Disney DVDs back in the day gave you like some kind of FBI warning screens in a blue background, unlike Fox DVDs where you get a big red background and you get FBI warning.
Anyway, second. Okay, the second supplement. Oh, man. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at my phone.
This time, unlike the DVD, you get the Walt Disney Home Entertainment logo and not the home video from the 1999 and 2000.
Not as scary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next up.
Ah, yes, the Disney Cruise Line promo. That exactly what you've seen in the end of the VHS tape. But um, it the way I see you get the home entertainment logo is that it's like Toy Story 2. You get the awarding screens, you get the logo, and you get some kind of promotion for Disney theme parks. Like you get like Toy Story 2, you get Disney California Adventure, which is already open, and but Finding Nemo in the VHS, you get the cruise line.
or DVD just without menus. But
True. Yeah, true to that. And now, after that cruise line promo, we now start off with the iconic bumpers that is a one-way ticket to memory lane, voiced by Brian Cummings. First off, we have Home on the Range. Like I mentioned on the last podcast on the DVD, it's a very overhated film next to I say Treasure Planet and and Atlantis. Those two films were definitely overhated and underrated, as well as Disney's take on a certain DreamWorks animation film that was actually released on the year I was born in. But
okay.
another iconic bumper, or should I say nostalgic? Why would I say iconic anyway?
Okay.
We have the Santa Claus 2, with, of course, Tim Allen, aka Buzz Lightyear from the Toy Story pentology. I was about to say quadrilogy, but we have the fifth movie on the way. And of course, we have The Lion King 3, or should I say 1.5? I don't know where 3 went, but okay.
By the way, that teaser trailer is hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Like at first, like it first started off the opening sequence of the first Lion King. Is like, is it really 3? Because it's just the first one. But in reality, we have Timon and Pumbaa watching the film and breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
There. Now this title is a knockout.
Not literally. All right. Next one.
Yeah, next one. We have the possibly the last bumper before the actual presentation. We have coming soon to theaters from Disney Pixar. So that is probably something we don't usually see in the actual DVD. And of course, we have the hilarious teaser trailer of a family of superheroes.
Poor Mr. Incredible just
Yeah, poor guy. Poor him.
trying to put his belt on. Okay.
Now, this time, unlike the actual VHS and DVD, you get a what should have been the join us after the feature bumper with a some kind of documentary and something I kind of wish the actual VHS would have had instead of the unsettling cruise line.
Yeah, all right.
And of course, VHS tapes from Disney always start with the feature presentation bumpers that we always get. Even though this is supposed to be a take on what the DVD would be like if they have no menus and has higher quality and everything else that we mentioned. And yeah,
All right.
and of course we meet it with Tex the robots. It's not that scary Broadway digitally mastered logo that we saw in the VHS. It's basically we actually have Tex One, aka the trailer that we saw in um, the DVD of A Bug's Life, the 2000 DVD of Toy Story, disc 2 of Finding Nemo, and Cars. Only this time was a little extended because when you hear it's a little extended, uh, you actually hear Tex like sawing something, and then something hit his head.
Yeah. Ow! Okay. Who's next? Oh yeah.
Before the actual feature presentation begins, we have a short called Knick Knack. Keep in mind, keep in mind, guys, that it's the censored version, or censored because the uncensored one is a little how do I describe it? A little too much for younger audiences. I'll say that.
Yeah. This is also pretty much going to be a review of the actual movies. So, yeah. Where are you by the way?
Okay. We get a after the short, we have a widescreen format as opposed to a full frame that we usually get for most VHS releases. And for some reason, that full screen format in the VHS tape looks similar to the one from Fox VHS tapes. That's kind of weird thinking about it, but I wouldn't get to that. I wouldn't get that far.
All right. Now to review the actual movie. Well, at least the simple plot, you know.
Yeah. Basically, the film is, like I said, it's the same it's the same movie, and it's the same thing that you get from the DVD and VHS. But basically, the film is it starts off with at the great it's in the setting of the Great Barrier Reef, and Marlin and Coral were actually going to live happily in an anime. I don't know how to pronounce that. An anime. Gosh,
Anemone.
I'm talking like Nemo right now. But yeah. So Marlin and Coral are a couple that are about to become parents. Only that someone decided to only until someone decided to ruin the moment. And unfortunately, Coral has unfortunately been eaten as well as the eggs. Even though, and that's a one perfect way to start off a movie that's rated G.
Yeah.
Surely enough, the only egg that remained was a child named Nemo that Marlin decided to call. And Nemo, and which is actually a name that his own wife liked and vows to keep him safe. As years went, or should why would I say years? As months went by, Nemo's about to have his first day of school, only until he decided to have a heated argument regarding his own father's such ridiculous overprotective parenting method. Wow, and simply basically because Mr. Ray and the children were heading to the drop off.
Mhm.
And surely enough, after Nemo tells his father off that he hates him, he definitely swims to a speedboat and was later then captured by a pair of scuba divers. Worse was to follow as then Marlin tries to save his own son only to get stopped by a scuba diver to get flashed by some kind of camera. Oh boy.
Some people are going to take that off context.
Yeah, don't take that seriously. Don't take that seriously, guys. Don't take that seriously. Anyway, back to the film. Marlin tries to pursue the boat in vain, but unfortunately, because of how fast the boat went, there was no way to catch up to it. Later then, Marlin met Dory, a blue tang who has short-term memory loss, who offers to help him out. But fortunately enough, they encounter a shark named Bruce, or should I say sharks, Anchor and Chum. Now that's the part Bruce would like to watch, but don't mind him. Make your own decisions.
Oh,
Sorry, that scene selection kind of gets me. It's like, well, you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the film. After the two have encountered sharks, they were known to actually attempt to abstain from eating fish. And later then, when Marlin attempts to make a joke for the second time after he failed the first time, he discovers a diver's mask that eventually fell from the boat and accidentally injures Dory with it. Unfortunately, the scent of her blood actually sends Bruce into a feeding frenzy and accidentally sets off old naval mines, causing the sharks, causing that, which would later then cause the sharks, Marlin and Dory, to swim to safety before the mines blow up. If you don't count the seagulls thinking that it's someone let it out some gas, we don't.
By the way, dude, just let you know your camera is frozen. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, back to the film. Nemo is placed in a fish tank in Sydney, Australia, where Well, despite there being a cameo of a Buzz Lightyear action figure, possibly bought from a now bankrupted Alice Toy Barn, if you saw what happened in Toy Story 2, he was in the it was actually he was in a fish tank in the office of dentist Philip Sherman. He would later then meet the Tank Gang led by Green Goblin. Sorry, I mean Gil. Um, a scarred Moorish idol. Sorry, I keep thinking of Spider Man every time because William Dafoe is a great actor anyway. After Nemo met Gil, um, there were some talks that Sherman was planning to give Nemo to his niece Darla, who accidentally killed her previous pet fish because she treated him carelessly. How did she treat her previous pet fish carelessly, you may ask? Shaking the bag constantly. Gil also wishes to return to the ocean as well. So, later then, the gang also decided to devise an escape plan. Despite that Nemo is the smallest fish in the tank, he would eventually block the aquarium's filter tube with a pebble, obligating Sherman to put the fish into bags while he cleans the tank. This would allow them to roll out the window and into the harbor. At first, Nemo attempted to block the filter once, but failed. But later that, but in a, but a later, but in a few
Same.
scenes later, Nemo actually made a very successful attempt.
Yeah. Saying he failed was an understatement. He almost died.
Yeah, I mean he's not. I mean, think of the. Yeah, but I mean, considering that Nemo is Marlin's only child, who could blame him? And but after making a very successful, but like I said, after the first time he failed, he would later then do so again, but passes success, but actually makes that plan successful. Now, where was Marlin and Dory, you may ask? They have to fall into a deep trench, where they were later then attacked by an angler fish.
Yeah.
Boy, do we have to thank a certain mascot robot for this.
Yeah.
Anyway, with the jokes aside, yes, Marlin and Dory. Sorry, I mean Marlin and Dory were ambushed by an anglerfish. They managed to trap it using the mask, and after that turn of events, Dory memorized the address P. Sherman 42 Wapelay, Sydney, written on the mask. Later then, they came across a school of moonfish, played by a very unexpected actor, John Ratzenberger, who also be known to be in a lot of Pixar films, gave the pair directions to the East Australian current. On their way, Marlin and Dory became trapped in a forest of jellyfish. After being stung and knocked unconscious, they were awakened in the East Australian current with a large group of sea turtles, including Crush and his son Squirt. The story of Marlin's quest was relayed by the turtles across the ocean to Sydney, where it reaches to Nigel, a pelican who regularly converses with the Tank Gang. Nigel later then tells them about Marlin's journey. And like I mentioned before, this was the reason why that actually motivated Nemo to have a very successful attempt to block the filter. And this time around, the aquarium quickly became covered in green algae.
Yeah.
Back to Marlin and Dory. They got lost again after exiting the current, or should I say the swirling vortex of terror, if you call it that. Actually, a very fun coaster ride. I mean, actually, it wouldn't because of motions like this. Anyway, the actual The actual reason why, after their actual reason that Marlin and Dory exited the current, they all got lost and are consumed by a blue whale. This actually expels the pair through its blowhole into Sydney Harbor. After Marlin and Dory arrived, Nigel finds them and soon rescue them from a flock of ravenous seagulls, aka those very hilarious seagulls, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Anyway, but after a unexpected chase sequence, the seagulls were somehow stopped after a somehow their beaks got stuck into a cloth of a sailboat. Nigel takes the pair to Sherman's office where Nemo is quote unquote playing dead, causing Marlin to believe that Nemo was actually dead, while in reality, Nemo was actually playing dead to avoid being given to Darla.
Yeah, because despite their success, Philip, freaking installed a new filter.
Yep. The Aqua Scum 2003. I see why it's called Scum anyway.
And yeah, that's what caused them to get it bagged up.
Yep. Back up. You thought their successful plan would be so successful. Welp, womp womp, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, after Sherman forced Nigel out of the office, Gil helped Nemo escape through the sink drain that leads to the ocean after being launched by a quote unquote volcano, which is not a real volcano. Don't take that out of context seriously, guys.
Yeah.
Deeply shaken, Marlin mournfully says goodbye to Dory and begins heading home alone. Nemo, but strangely enough, no, Nemo has actually met Dory, who helps him reunite with Marlin. But
After interrogating a crab.
yep, boy, that crab almost had what's coming to him. And strangely enough, we had a unexpected comeback from those seagulls that somehow got unstuck. Gee, I wonder how they got back. Well, wait, thank Cartoon Logic for that. Anyway, in the final climax, in the final climax, Marlin and Nemo were reunited. But unfortunately, that ended too soon when a fishing trawler captures Dory in the net along with a school of groupers. Nemo and Marlin all decided to work together, instructing the fish to swim down. With their combined force of swimming all the way down breaks the beam of the trawler, causing the fish to be free.
And
After
I like how the final boss is literally just two fishermen.
Yeah, yeah, so that's something you don't see for most Pixar films. I mean, most Pixar films include Final Race from Cars 1 and 3. We usually get superheroes fighting. Um, but that's most movies would have something like that. That's something that isn't so action packed, even for
Here,
a G-rated film.
here on the other end, it's just two fishermen doing their jobs.
Yep, pretty much. Sometime later, Marlin, who has become more confident and outgoing, rather than rather than being rather than being over in confidence, and has this overprotective parenting method, all this decided to had dropped Nemo off at school. Dory joins Marlin, and together they all wave goodbye to Nemo as he leaves with his class.
Or Glenn McQueen.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. But the movie wasn't done just yet. We have because back at the dentist because back in Sydney, Philip's new filter has actually broken, causing the tank gang to actually the tank gang escape into Sydney Harbor in their plastic bags. after they successfully had went to the after they successfully went into the ocean, they ponder what to do next when they are still stuck in the bags. Now
Oh boy.
what?
Yeah. You forgot to mention the cameo of Mr. Incredible.
Uh oh yeah, that kid. Fortunately, he got traumatized. I mean, uh, but when I see that, but by the way, that Mister Incredible Easter egg is something you don't see. I mean, it makes sense because you get the Incredibles teaser, you get a teaser for the Incredibles. That kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and as we're painting out the window, you know, in the final scene, we actually see Luigi from Cars driving by.
Yep, we see a model of Luigi, even though Cars doesn't exactly come out 3 years later. 3 years later after the release of Finding Nemo. So after the movie ended, so it seems that the movie has actually came to a very perfect happy ending, if you ask me. Only until Finding Dory released in 2016.
Yeah, but yeah, and we get one last cameo, and during the end credits.
Mike was Pixar. I'd like to know why is Mike swimming underwater when he's supposed to be in Monstropolis right now.
Listen, he probably went through the door that leads to the beach or whatever. Why do we get banished here? Remember that scene?
That's something I like to question too. And as the credits roll, we see a bunch of characters just being themselves. This rather whether it would be whether it would be Gil whether it would be Gil and Gurgle playing with Float, who has somehow became a volleyball. Marlin and Nemo playing with each other as having their own father and son time, and many more. But people could always be wondering, whatever happened to the anglerfish? Tell that to Blenny.
Yeah. We get a post-credit scene where Blenny eats the anglerfish.
His that Blenny's jaw just like snap. It's just when I don't know. The anglerfish looked like the anglerfish got eaten like an apple so quickly when you heard that crunch. What the heck was that? Blennies don't eat. Wait, fish don't eat apples. Like what the heck?
So, okay, and that's it for the movie. Now for the next supplement.
So the next thing we get for the closing is the promo for the video game, uh, which is basically a commercial where two men are getting a special delivery from the game, and somehow gets a unexpected splash of water or a bath of water coming to them. And the commercial would also promote the gameplay, and they would also have some talks that you would get a quote unquote free movie admission to Finding Nemo, which is basically a ticket where you would include a ticket for the movie to see the movie. Unfortunately, that is probably for those who would own the video game nowadays on eBay or Amazon. The ticket is probably just invalid because I think they already are sold and the movie is already out. So there's no point on actually just bringing it to the ticket or to the theater because there's no possibility for having the movie to be re-released.
I can't swim! I can't swim!
Just stand up! Just stand up!
Oh. And finally,
Last one we have are the last featurette that we have to conclude this what if is exploring the reef with Gene Mitchell Gustu. So,
what is it about exactly? Well, it's about a marine biologist named John Michel Gusteau, trying to make a documentary on the, reef when all of a sudden, take it away, Duke.
someone decided to interrupt the film, or should I say documentary.
Yeah. And who is it? It's Marlon Dorian emo, guys.
Oh, brother.
Your guy has a mental breakdown at the end.
oh, oh no.
Okay, that's it for the. Yeah, I decided we're doing our podcast on like Friday and Saturday nights. So tomorrow we're going to be doing a podcast on how my version of the Cars DVD would go.
Yep.
I hope you all enjoyed. That's it. Tomorrow we go. Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
Yeah, we hope to see you there.